Okay, I am in the process of cleaning the hoods, well, basically the glass lids, and wiping off the lights and wiping off the top rim of all of these 20-gallon tanks. I have done the top tanks. Look how clean these are. Oh my goodness. All of the two top ones are done. And I really think that the tanks look a little bit different when you clean off the lid, when they were as dirty as these had been, as these were. So I still need to do the bottom ones. There's just all kinds of junk on them. Algae kind of back where the light is. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to do the bottom lids and clean out the little ledge where the lids sit and clean off the light. And yeah, then we'll be done with this side, and we have many more to go, but we'll be done with, 4 or so. Anyway, work in progress. Okay, we've got this wall of tanks done. The hoods, the lids. Why do I call it a hood? It's not a hood. The glass lids have been cleaned and they look very sparkly, and there's not like huge blobs of algae and junk in the way of the light. So hopefully, hopefully the lids look cleaner and the rim of the tank, and I wiped off the lights and everything should look cleaner. Yay. Okay, so that's 4 down and a whole bunch to go. Tonight, I have 2 more I'm trying to do. And then tomorrow, all the rest. Yeah. So, still a work in progress. And they think I'm going to feed them. They think I'm going to feed them because it is about that time. Okay, we are cleaning lids. We have not cleaned this lid. It is very yucky, very yucky. I hate to even show how yucky this lid is. It's really, really yucky. There's just all kinds of deposits on it. Okay, I just cleaned this one. And it looks like there's dog hair on it. Okay, and a little scratch. Oh well, that doesn't matter. Look how clean it is, yay. So I just put it in a bathtub with some warm bleach water, scrubbed on it with a brush. I think it's intended to be used in the kitchen, like a kitchen kind of brush, but I just use it with bleach stuff and cleaning products. I rinsed it pretty good, just with plain water. And then just kind of dried off the top of it. Oh, I did scrape part of it with a blade. Did scrape the glass with just a razor blade in several areas, and just kind of scrubbed it with the brush. Rinsed it off. I did put some extra water conditioner in. I use Stress Coat, so it's the kind of thing where you can't really get too much. So I used like double how much I probably normally would, just in case any little residue of bleach or anything got in their tank. This is the way I've done it before. I haven't cleaned these in a long time, you can kind of tell. So, yeah, and also wiped off the light with just like, I guess, glass cleaner. Just wiped it off, both sides, kind of wiped off the little hook things, whatever these attachments are. So it was dusty and had just water dripped on it various times, so all pretty. I wiped out the edge, wiped out the edge of the tank. There is still some stuff on it because I didn't, if I just had like 1 or 2 tanks, I'd probably wipe off the edges better and just really get the stuff off of them, but I didn't. I mean, I wiped it off several times, like 3 times in a row, and even used the blade a little bit on it just to kind of scratch off some of this stuff. But anyway, it's good. It's way better than it was, and that's good enough. So it's like 10 o'clock. Their light normally isn't on. And I'm about to turn it off. I cleaned out their hang-on back a little bit. Just normal stuff I would do to it. And yeah. And I took one of the plants out, and I tried to be sure to get the snails off of their breeding cone. This is ebony and ivory. They have not bred, they have not spawned yet, but they keep acting like they're going to. They've been picking at the leaves, like cleaning them and cleaning that breeding cone. So I was kind of careful to get any snails out of here, because snails are bad when you have like eggs or like wigglers that can't swim, like a little fry that's just wigglers and they can't swim yet, because the snails could come and eat them and they can't really necessarily get away. So we got snails out of here, I believe. At least it's kind of a second pass through to try to get all the snails off. There was a couple of little ones on the breeding cone, and like underneath the plant. And what is that? That's probably something that got scraped off of something. Anyway, well, it's better than it was. I gave them about a 2/3 water change. Anyway, hopefully, maybe they'll actually spawn now. I'm gonna go do the bottom tank, which is my Nano fish tank. It's a 20 long. And yeah, we have to be very careful about these fish. There are some pseudomcgill, Ivansophii, and they are jumpers. We've lost a few, I hate to admit it. But so I'm very, very careful to like put little pieces of plastic over any holes that I can, just to be really careful. And I think this tank isn't, in a way it's a good size for them, but in a way the depth for like the top to bottom, what's that height? Hello, words. The height of it is just so shallow, and by the time you get some substrate, and then like right now, I guess that helps them not jump out. I'm about to clean out the tank because I don't want to take the lid off and not drop the water line. And it kind of needs to be cleaned anyway and have a water change. So they're so likely to jump, the Ivansophii. So I am going to drop their water line and give them a water change, and then before I fill it up, clean their lid and wipe off the rim of the tank. Probably several times wipe off the rim of the tank, like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, I need to turn their heater off and unplug their hang-on back. Yeah, but I need to very carefully do that. But that's what's happening. So we're gonna clean this tank and the lid and the rim of the tank, and really the light, the hang-on back, a lot of stuff. It's getting late. This is taking longer than I thought. It always does, doesn't it? It always takes longer. Well, to do a good job, it generally does. So I'm thinking about putting these guys in a little bit bigger tank. I'd really like to get them in a deeper tank. Or taller was what I mean. Taller is what I really mean. I just think that's really limiting. Well, there's not much difference in, I think this is only like 12 inches deep or so, maybe 13-ish, 12-ish. There's not much difference between the top of the water, the mid-water, and the bottom levels. And I think the green neon tetras are kind of mid-water, I think. And then the pseudomcgills, I think, are top water. And then there's also a female betta in here. I don't see her. She may be hiding. I don't see her right now. I saw her a minute ago. And there are some exclamation point rasboras. And then there's 4 plecos. What is in there? There are 4 Queen Arabesque juvenile plecos that are in the log, the fake log on the left. So yeah, I'd really like to have a larger, I love the green neon tetras, that there's a large group of those. I don't know, I feel like they're a little bit crowded, and I'd like to give them some more space and move them to another tank eventually. I just don't really have the space right now. Yeah. So many fish and so few tanks. Anyway, I'll keep you updated. So we are, these are the tanks I've had set up the longest, the 29 with these, well, these angels haven't been in it the whole time, but this 29 gallon and this 20 long are the tanks I have had set up the longest, other than my 60 gallon cube downstairs. So the lids and the rims of the tank start to, even if you clean them off and wipe them down, they just over time start to get stuff built up on them. So you really, they just look the worst, I guess is what I'm trying to say. These two lids, before I clean that one, and these two tanks, the lids and the rim and everything just really look the worst. Just because they've been in use for probably over 2 years. So they've been, when I decided that I wanted to breed angelfish and started working on getting some stock of blue angelfish, these are the tanks, the first two that I set up. So, and it's going quite well. Overall, going quite well. Takes some time to grow up that original stock and have a few different generations. But yeah, I have other videos about my blue angels. I have some really pretty blue marble angelfish that are, many of them are pearl scale. Have some blue, dark blue pinoy that are kind of like ebony here. Well, I think that this dark blue pinoy is a female. I'm really just guessing, but assuming that that's a female, her sister is the mama of most of the blue angels. And just recently, one of their offspring, one of, I guess you'd say, Ebony's sister's offspring, has paired up with another fish I already had. And we're starting to get some other blue angels. So I will link a video about that. And we're gonna get to cleaning because it's certainly not getting any earlier. Look how nice that top of that tank looks. Woo-hoo-hoo. We got it. We got it cleaned up last night. Yes, we did. It's our 20 long. We gave them a water change. And I also cleaned the lid. And then I already showed you this one. There's a lot of glare in different places because it's light outside today. Oh, and the lights across the room are on too, so there's that. But yes, I cleaned the lids. Doesn't happen often. Clean the lid, the rim, the lights, wiped off the lights. So yeah, very good, very good. Now I just have all the tanks downstairs to do. Hey guys, Tiffany here. I am finishing up some significant tank maintenance projects, like cleaning the lids to all these tanks. And yeah, today we're on the rainbow tank. Well, both of the rainbow tanks. And there's other rainbow tanks in the other room. But, so what we're gonna do, or what I think I'm gonna do, is clean the tank and leave the water level kind of low because rainbows jump. And I don't want to take the lid off. I don't want to take the lid off if the water level is high. So, yep, that's what we're going to do. So, wow, look at the colors on these guys from the top. They think I'm gonna feed them, but they're wrong. So we're going to leave their water level just a little bit low. And then I'm going to take the lids off and put them in some bleach water and scrub on them. Because I don't know if you can tell how green, actually you probably can't tell because the lights are so bright. But then I'm going to clean the lids and scrub on them bleach water, and that's why I have on my painting shirt, white painting shirt. So let's see how this goes. Then we have these to do. We need to do the 2 in the other room. And I've done those tanks, but I still need to do the lids on the guppy rack. So that's what's going on. So I have completed the project for these tanks, the rainbow tanks in the living room. I cleaned the tank, siphoned the gravel, and I left the water level. I refilled the tank, but left the water level a little low, and I cleaned the lids. And these look so much better. There was so much algae and crud on the underside of the lid. And so now the tank is just so much more well lit. I cleaned the filters. I cleaned the shark filter on the left, and it's just, the water's so much more clear. I just fed them. They want me to feed them some more, but I'm not. And also cleaned the rainbow tank at the bottom. Same thing, left the water level didn't quite fill it up, and cleaned the lid because rainbow fish jump, and I didn't want to fill up the water and then take the lid off and have the lid off for a little while I was cleaning them. And clean the shark filter really well. That's a CJ shark filter. And then the sponge filter in each of these. So that's a 40-gallon breeder. And then this is a 50-gallon. It's the same footprint as the 40-gallon, except it's 2 inches taller, which I really like. This 3-foot tank. I think it's a really good footprint. So finished cleaning those. I put the lids down in some warm bleach water, scrubbed them with a brush, took some of the glass apart from the hinge because the hinge had all kinds of yucky stuff in it and I was having trouble getting it cleaned up. Oh, they're searching for food on the bottom. I was like, what are they doing? I just fed these rainbows. And some of I fed them some peewee pellets and some Nano pellets from Extreme, and they're looking for things that landed on the bottom. So another thing that I did when I was cleaning out these tanks and lids last night, I wiped out all of the rails. These aren't rails. What are these? I don't know. The edge of the tank that holds the lids, it was really, really yucky. It was so yucky. Nico, night-night. Night-night. So I did that. It really took a while. It's quite an ordeal. I wiped off the light very carefully with glass cleaner. So I sprayed glass cleaner on a paper towel away from the tank, not near the tank, and then wiped off the light, the top of the light, the bottom of the light, because it had like dust and dog hair and whatever. So these tanks are the water is so clear, in part probably because I cleaned the filter and because they had a water change, and then also having the lid cleaned off, it just makes the tank, the light gets to the water, gets through the lid into the water, and just is so much prettier. And then I moved some of the fish to the bottom tank because I moved a couple of smaller turquoise rainbows and a couple of dwarf neon rainbows and just a few of the smaller macculachai. So just a few that I want to keep. Basically, the bottom tank is going to be fish that I keep, or at least I intend to keep this rainbow tank, and like all of these rainbows. And I want to get them a larger tank. It's going to be a 4 or 5 foot tank soon. Hopefully, I've been planning that for a while. In 2020, went all crazy, and I don't have my big tank yet, but soon I will. I will say these macculachai here, the red, where is it? Some of these guys are a little more than 3 inches. Some of them are bigger. Some of the males are bigger than I expected. And then the turquoise grow really slow. but the turquoise will end up probably being bigger than the McCullochai, but at this point they grow really slow. They grow the slowest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so really pleased with how these tanks turned out. It was a lot of work, and I get to do it again today. Miko, hello, night night. I get to do the 50 gallon and the 40 gallon in the other room because we haven't had enough fun. So I'll show you the before. I'm a little embarrassed. But I'll show you the before. This is in the kitchen, dining area. This is a 50 and a 40. So, I don't have a background on these. I need to have a background. But I got guppies in the bottom, and I do have rainbows in the top. So these, and I call this Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Originally, there were only 7 or 8 of the dwarf neon. These are not dwarf neon. These are called Kamaka rainbows that are a type of dwarf rainbow. But then I got some of I was trying to make space clear out, kind of thin out some of the population in the other 50 gallon. And I put some of these juvenile Kamaka rainbows. So these are Kamaka rainbows. There's 7 big ones and probably, I don't know, around 2 dozen small ones. But if you can see the way this tank is, all the yuck around the edges of this lid, how you can't really see through this very well. There's just so much yuck, especially in kind of the middle where the light is. There's just so much algae on the bottom side of this, and dust and deposits of mineral deposits or whatever. So yeah, this is the next project. And it's pretty bad, the bottom tank too. Yeah. So this is what I get to do next. I'd also like to put a background on this. I think I'd make a big difference. So my ongoing project to do the lids. And then there's a few more lids after this, but we're getting closer. Alrighty then, I have finally, it's been many days later, and I have finally cleaned these lids that are on the Kamaka Rainbow tank. Kamaka Rainbow plus a large angelfish. So we have some adult Kamaka Rainbows, and then we have some younger ones that actually have grown a lot since they got put in here. So excuse the glaring light from the other room. Yeah, I still don't have a background on this tank. I've been more concerned about water quality and cleaning tanks and cleaning lids than actually putting the background on. But I do have a very sophisticated cardboard background. I'm sorry, poster board. Very sophisticated poster board background that I have on several other tanks. I have it on 4 other tanks. I just haven't gotten around to putting it together and measuring, cutting and taping and all that stuff. But it would look nice. I bet it would look nice. Yeah. So, oh, and then the guppy tank at the bottom. Clean lids on the guppy tank. So very excited that we can see, and they think I'm gonna feed them. But it's Sunday, and often I fast my fish on Sunday. Not the babies, but the adults. And these juveniles are old enough. I think they'll be fine. Anyhow, that's what's going on. Thanks for watching. Have a good week. And I will see you next week.